the short stick, the flat stick, the bread and butter, the ultimate equaliser, the putter. For me, the putter is the most important club in the bag. It is the club you use the most, and it is the club that can help you build your score. But what are my top 10 tips that you should consider when buying a new putter? Let's find out, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got loads of great content lined up for you guys. The channel is growing absolutely wonderfully and I want you to be a part of it at home. If you like course vlogs, if you like club reviews, if you like club comparisons, if you like golf tips for free, again, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Put the thumbs up if you're enjoying the content so far and comment below. Today in this video, I want you to comment which putter are you using and are you considering changing. Also, tag in there, how long have you been using the putter for? That takes me to my first point. Okay guys, so point number one, and this is quite a philosophical one really. You're gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna let you into a little secret. Even if you feel like you've found a brand new putter which works perfectly, it works wonderfully, the garden is luscious and green, the birds are singing, and the world is wonderful again, do not get rid of your old putter. Rule number one, never sell an old putter. This thing here was one of the first putters I liked and played well with. And look at her. Isn't she wonderful? I was going to break out into song then, but I'm not going to because it's far too early for that. And what I mean by this point is, if you feel you've found the answer and you have putted well with your old putter in the past, keep it. For the sake of what you'll get with it, I could sell this putter and I may get, I don't know if they've held the value or not, I may get £100 for it. £100, yeah, it's a fair whack of money if you're going to invest in a new putter, but whenever I have dark days on the greens, this is the first thing I go back to. It fills me with good memories, it fills me with decent stroke ideas, and in fairness, it just fills me with confidence. Point number one, never sell an old putter. Unless someone wants to give me like £1,000 for it, then comment below. Point number two. What shape do you want? What shape do you like to see? Do you like to see a really big putter? Do you like to see a small header putter? Do you like a big mallet design? Do you prefer the more traditional Newport design? What about a really old school bladed design? These things have always intrigued me. There's loads of different factors you need to consider when looking at a putter shape. Does it suit your eye? Does it fill you with confidence? Does it suit your stroke? I'm going to go into that one later on in a further point. Have I used that shape before successfully? Have I not used that shape before successfully? I know some people who steer well clear of blade putters because it doesn't fill them with confidence, it brings back bad memories, and they don't feel comfortable using that shape putter. Great. Don't force yourself to use a putter because you like the branding and the marketing of it, when it's obviously not going to work for you. That's point number two. What shape should you use? Point number three. What about the length of the putter? Should I be using 34 inches? Should I be using 35 inches? What about 33 inches and really try and get over it? What if you're 6'10"? 36 inches, 37? I guess one of the only real ways you will know what length putter you should need goes on to another point. But when you go and try your putter, make sure you're not stood too far away from it. Make sure you're not stood too close. All these different points will affect obviously where the ball is in the stance and also the length of the putter that you're trying. Say for instance you're 5'9" and you go out and try a 36-inch putter. You stood far too far away from it. The stroke works like this, really, really, really archy, but you feel fairly comfortable with it on that day, so you buy it. Wrong decision completely. If you're stood far too far away from it, you may get the perception that the putter is the right length for you, when actually, matter of fact, it probably isn't. If you're going to test something like that, make sure an expert is there with you to lend a helping hand and make sure you get the right length putter. That's tip number three. What length shaft should I have in my putter? Tip number four. Do I want a toe hang putter like this one? Or a face balance putter like this one? That's pointing pretty skywards, isn't it? Or do I want a 40-degree face balance? Make sure that you find a putter that suits your stroke. This is something that Ping do exceptionally well. You'll even notice on their shafts, it tells us if the putter is suited to a strong arc or a weak arc or a straight back and straight through stroke. Do you know what kind of stroke you use? Do you know what kind of stroke you're trying to use? When you're going to buy a putter, it's inevitable that you're going to be asked these questions and you sort of really should know the answer. Make sure someone is there to help you. Make sure you can hit a few putts with the different putters and they can tell you what kind of stroke you're using. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 putts. Try a dozen putts. See on average what kind of stroke you're producing. That's tip number 4. What kind of face balance am I wanting to use? Tip number 5, and we're halfway through there now. What kind of weight do I want in my putter? Are the greens fairly quick? Are they fairly slow where I usually play? Do I like to feel as though I just have to get the putter head moving, or do I feel like I want to be able to give it a bit of a wrap? In the putter that I buy, is there a changeable weight system? So if the greens do change in summer and winter, can I change the overall weight of the putter? That can be really handy. And what about a counterbalance in the grip? If you struggle with the dreaded, I'm not even going to say the word, beginning with Y, can a counterbalance in the other end of the putter help you out massively, save your stroke and save your game? Putter weighting is something which has become a lot more prominent over the last few years. Make sure you know what your putter weighs and if you can change the weight of it when you want to. That's tip number 5. Tip number 6, and this is a little bit of a less scientific point. What colour do I want? So many different putters now come in loads of different colours, such as this one, the Spider Mini, the little brother or little sister, depending on what you want to think of it as, of the infamous Taylormade Spider putter. These putters come in all different shapes and sizes now, and colours. So you can get this putter in the silver, you can get it in the red, and just like the good old Odyssey 2 ball, that's now available in red as well, and it must be said, it looks a little bit special. The actual Taylormade Spider you can get in black, you can get in red, you can get in silver, you can get in loads of different colours. Now there's no real scientific reasoning for this. Jason Day proved that. He said the reason he wanted a red putter was because he liked the look of it and it looked cool. So when you pick up a putter, you've got to, yes, like the stroke, like the feel, but you've also got to like the look. Just like a car, you've now got plenty of choices in what colour putter you go for. That's tip number 6. Tip number 7. Which kind of face insert should I go for? Do the greens at your home course play generally fast? Do they play a little bit slower? Do you want a nice hard insert so you just have to tap it and get the ball rolling? This is similar to the weight discussion we had earlier. Or like in the new Odysseys, do you want that micro hinge insert where the ball comes off pretty much like butter? You would have to give it a little bit of a hit though on some slower greens. What about the insert in the new Scotty Cameron Studio Select range? 30% more vibration dampening, that's going to feel soft. Or the Pure Roll technology in this year's Taylormade Putters. That can also feel fairly soft. Definitely food for thought, and that's a real quick point number 7. Which face insert should I go for? Tip number 8, we're rifling through these now guys, and tip number 8 is a big one. I could have put this a lot earlier on, but I don't really feel like these are in much of an order. It's just a mashup of my top 10 points. How much money have you got to spend? What is your budget? Now budget is a big thing in all my videos, in all my top 10 tips for what you should buy. You need to think about how much money do you have to spend. There's no point going for a PXG fitting with a putter if you can't afford a PXG putter. There's not a lot of point testing out loads of different Scotty Cameron shapes if you're not quite in that market for a Scotty Cameron. But you will find a putter for you that suits your budget if you go and do a little bit of digging. You can find them on the internet, you can find them in the pro shop. You don't always have to buy a brand new putter. Technology in putters is changing a little bit with the face inserts and the weighting and the different lengths that you can adjust. But let's be fair, no one has reinvented the wheel with putting yet, have they? So if you go out and you buy a new putter every year because you feel like technology is helping you with your putting, I would probably disagree with that. I have heard that Odyssey have some interesting shafts coming out this year, which will be very interesting to test. But apart from that and a few face inserts, I can't see how putting is changing that much. That's tip number 8. Tip number 9. Guess what this is? You got it, grips. What kind of grip should you have on your putter? Does the grip affect the weight? Yes. Does the grip affect the way you hold the club? Obviously. What else does the grip affect? The grip affects loads of things. It can affect your confidence levels. It can affect the aesthetics of the putter. A lot of putters now are sold with bigger, thicker grips on. Super Stroke, the new Scotty Cameron grips. Ping grips are now a lot thicker than they used to be. Very rare do you see a putter now where it comes with a standard thin putter grip on. Now what can happen with this is when you use a bigger, thicker grip, it can take the hands out of it. You don't see that many people using the standard thin grips anymore. I must admit, if I'm putting really well and I'm I'm dead confident, then I'm really happy with a standard thickness grip where I can just let the putter flow through my hands. If I'm not feeling as confident, Super Stroke make a great grip. And that's tip number 9. Moving on to the final point that you should consider when buying a new putter. What do we think it's going to be? Come on, comment below. We all know what it's going to be. You need to get yourself fitted for your putter. Just like in my top 10 tips for buying a driver, just like in my top 10 points to consider when buying irons, just like in my top 10 points to consider when buying wedges, you need to get fitted for your golf clubs. The putter is the club that you will use the most in your game. So why on earth wouldn't you make sure it was right for you? Say for instance you go and buy a putter off the rack and the lie angle is standard, but you play it this way with the toe up in the air. That loft is now pointing left of the hole, not at the hole. So if your loft is pointing left of the hole and you make a pretty good stroke, where do you think the ball is going to go? It's not going to go at the hole, is it? These little things make such a huge difference, even a couple of degrees. If the length isn't right for you, you're not going to make the most consistent strokes you can. If the weighting in the head isn't right for you, you're going to struggle on occasions. If the grip isn't right for you, that's something that a fitter can look at and determine if you would suit a thin grip, a thick grip, a weighted grip. So you can hole more putts, lower your scores, lower your handicap, and ultimately, hopefully, enjoy your golf more. Guys, that has been my top 10 tips that you should consider when buying a new putter. I'm James Robinson, I'm here at Huddersfield Golf Club. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, consider it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the channel is growing wonderfully and I want all of you to be a part of it. Put the thumbs if you've enjoyed the video and comment below. What kind of putter are you using? Are you considering changing? And what would you change to? Also, how long have you had your putter? See you soon.